Piano by D.H. Lawrence. Here's information about D.H. Lawrence. Please read through it and take down some notes on lined paper. Make sure you have a copy of the poem in front of you with highlighters and some pens. Okay, please do visit the website stated below, this one, if you wish to learn more information in regards to this writer and his life. Let's move on. So what's the piano poem about? I'd like you to mind map what you would associate with the piano. I know you'll have your explicit meanings, but you need to think about the implicit connotations of the piano, what is associated with the piano, and so on. Consider the significance of the title once you've read the whole poem. What does the title suggest to the reader about the poem's main subject matter? And is the reader fooled by the title, or is their assumption affirmed by the actual topics addressed in the poem? So I'd like you to go and read the poem now as a whole, and then come back to this screencast once you've finished. Okay, here's a fun fact about the Industrial Revolution and how playing the piano was a form of art, domestic art, for the family to enjoy. Since there were no means to reproduce music automatically, people played. So this historical sentimentality associated with the entertainment of the piano in that time of the 19th century might have, or it does have, clear relevance for our poem. So, what is this poem all about, you might be saying? Well, the poem, Piano, becomes nostalgic while a woman sings and plays the piano. A mother is playing the piano, and the speaker of the poem starts to remember his childhood, and his masculinity is challenged as he does not want to cry sad tears for the loss of his childhood and the loss of the beauty of that form of entertainment with his own mother as a result of time passing. So the piano's melodic sounds transport the speaker back in time to his own childhood years. But you wouldn't have thought it if you just focused on the first stanza, which clearly presents a sense of detachment. Okay, so let's move on. Stanza 1. The speaker is describing what he sees in his mind's eye. A woman is seen to be singing and playing the piano, whilst her child is fascinated by the piano. Fair point, but people, can we have some evidence? I'd like you to find a quote to support that valid point. And once you've found the quote, I'd like you to write down on your lined piece of paper your analysis of the language techniques used in your particular short quote. Okay. Next, another important thing to look out for is the rhyme scheme. Me, see, strings, sings. What's the rhyme scheme? Look at the last word in each line. Do they rhyme? If so, explain in your opinion why do the words rhyme and in what fashion. So we're still on stanza number 1. Let's focus in detail. I'd like you to notice how the poem starts off with a soft, gentle tone through the word softly. Compare and contrast the first few words of the other 2 remaining stanzas in this poem. Is there a structural change of tone or not? And if so, why? What's significant about the time of day? Softly in the dusk. What are the connotations of dusk? The speaker addresses a woman with no name. What could this suggest about the poet's relationship with the woman so far? Or the speaker's relationship with the woman so far? Notice how the speaker moves from an impersonal description of a woman to a personalized description of a mother. Again, we get this progression away from the we have this outer circle, and then we're moving in towards the personalized description. I'd like you to find out what the word vista means. What is the significance of this word in this stanza? What is it trying to emphasize? Think about specific emotions addressed. What kind of imagery do we have here? And pressing the small poised feet of a mother who smiles as she sings. What kinds of emotions does this speaker refer to through this imagery? How does this impact the overall tone of the stanza? Is it positive, negative, bitter, happy? The speaker presents a sense of distance between himself and the scene of the mother and child. How and why does the speaker achieve this sense of detachment? Let's move on to stanza 2. Underline the emotive language used in the stanza. Why has the emotive language been used? Spite, for example, weeps, and so on. Investigate the rhyme scheme. Is it still the same? If so, why? Melancholy is often associated with predictability, monotonous patterns, a lack of spontaneity and surprise. Does the rhyme scheme surprise you, or does it bore you? Is there a slow pace or a fast pace, and why? Make sure you understand the definition of a few key words. Insidious, hymns, parlour, betrays. And what relevance do these words have in relation to the stanza and the rest of the poem? Do you recall the sense of detachment between the speaker, the unnamed woman, and the unnamed child in stanza 1? Is there a similar level of detachment in the stanza, or has it changed? In spite of myself, look at the words of "Till the heart of me weeps to belong," our guide. Remember to find short quotes to support your opinion. What does it all mean so far? Please read through the summary of stanza 2. Feel free to pause it as you read through it. Stanza 3. As you may have gathered, one of the main themes is this sense of melancholy, depression about the past and the transient nature of time. The poem is in present tense. The poem deals with the nature of time, memory, and the past. What's the significance of this full stop? Why did D.H. Lawrence decide to use a full stop here in contrast to his previous stanzas? With the great black piano appassionato. Find out what appassionato means. Let's look at this reference to manhood. Notice the reference to masculinity. How does the speaker present his struggle to hold back his tears? Look out for violent verbs. A reminder of the main themes of the poem. Masculinity, loneliness, and memory. Find a short quote from this stanza for each of the above-mentioned themes. Here we go. A summary of stanza 3 and what it's all about for those of you who are a bit confused in regards to the main meaning. Do not worry. So pause this video class now and read through the summary of stanza 3. Okay, welcome back. Let's move on. So, as we've read the poem as a whole, I'd like you to remember the most important way of addressing and annotating a poem, the form of slime. Structure, language, imagery, meaning, effect. Make sure that you've looked at the use of caesura, for example, throughout the poem and its significance in presenting the themes I mentioned before. Which are the poems on the theme of childhood? Now please remind yourselves that If, Prayer Before Birth, Half Past Two, Piano, Hide and Seek all deal with the theme of childhood. So you might have to compare Piano with Hide and Seek, for example, or piano with prayer before birth, for example, in your GCSE exams. Okay. Structural analysis. Let's look over here. A way to address this matter is to look at the last word in every single line for each stanza and to take them away from the other words. So, let's look at stanza 1. We have the words me, see, tingling strings, she sings. These are the last words. Do you notice a pattern or link or overriding theme presented through these last words? Okay. Again, think about the rhyme scheme and its significance. Let's look at stanza 2, song, belong, outside, guide. Again, these words, you need to compare and contrast them with the last words used in stanzas 1 and 3. Look at this, clamour and glamour, cast the past. Notice how the poem ends with the word past, again emphasizing how this poem's main focus is on the past and memory and the transient nature of time. Okay, so we've got this sense of this desperation to belong, but now he feels he's outside that time. He's in the present, the now. The loneliness is troubling him. Okay. Here are some extension tasks for you. Please research the piano's main role in the 19th century. Here's a website, a suggestion. So, how does this information impact your opinion or response to D.H. Lawrence's poem? And that's it. I wish you the best of luck with your revision, and thank you very much.